Welcome, Keto Rock Stars. This is Rockin' Keto Coach Amy here, and today we are doing an interview with Chanelle from Shan Drew's Life. Welcome, Chanelle. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to come and do an interview with me. Um,
Thank you for
we're
having
going to
me.
go ahead. Yes, we're going to go ahead and say hi to a few people here. Um, and just so you all know, I have posted a link to Chanelle's channel at Chandru's Life. I've pinned it. So please, if you're not subscribed to her, please go ahead and go out and subscribe to her channel. We have Evelyn, one of my awesome moderators, is here. We have Thomas, Target Prime Rib. Hi, Thomas. And people are saying hello. Risa is here. Welcome, Risa. Glad you can make it. Um, so glad you're here today. Let's see. We have, and Risa's saying, "What a treat!" Live on a Saturday morning. Yes. So the reason for going live on a Saturday morning is Chanelle is very interesting, and she lives in a very interesting place. And there is, I think, what, an 8 hour time difference. So we had to schedule it at a time where neither of us were sleeping, or eating, or doing any of those things. So that's kind of why I'm going live at 10. And what time is it where you are at,
Six
Chanelle?
o'clock in the evening.
6 o'clock in the evening. So this kind of was perfect for both of us. And so we are going to go ahead and get started, and we are going to let Chanelle tell her story. And so, Chanelle, you're currently eating carnivore, correct?
Yes, I have been eating carnivore
W-
for a while now.
So, go ahead and tell us your carnivore story and what kind of led you to get on the carnivore lifestyle.
I started carnivore, I would say about 3 years ago. I lost quite a bit of weight and I started regaining. We all know the story. And I was in a very busy season of my life. So I thought, let me order in our foods. But because I don't like vegetables, I was picking out the meat and kind of only eating that. And then I Googled, can I die from only eating meat? Like a sane person would. And it sort of brought me onto the carnivore community. But living the lifestyle I didn't stick to it. I was eating carnivore during the week, non-carnivore over weekends, and if you do that, you actually gain a lot of weight very quickly if you introduce your carbs on a very low carb diet. So yeah, I decided in April of this year to recommit because my husband asked me to, and it was sort of, say it's that crossroads in a marriage where he could be running off with his golf buddy or his running buddy. So it was one of those questions, and I knew that I had to commit to this because this was actually pivotal for my marriage, and I did. And I'm just sticking to it. I don't know why it clicked in my brain. I don't know if it's because we're not close to our usual shops that we would use to cheat. I don't know that, our usual restaurants, our usual shops, but for some other reason, it's sticking, it's going great. And since April, I've been basically eating clean carnivore with you guys mostly because we did the BBB&E and then we did the 10,000 steps challenge.
So, your husband's doing this with you then?
Yes, he definitely is.
Oh, that makes it so much easier. Now, you talk about the usual shops and places that you go to eat. Tell us, uh, tell us about your you've lived in several different places, correct? So
By
tell us
accident.
by accident. So tell us about, your traveling journey, and as much as you feel comfortable, obviously, but tell us where you're living, where you've lived, and then maybe what challenges you've had with this lifestyle having to move several times.
Well, we used to live in South Africa, in Johannesburg. Um, the people that's familiar with the area, you can make a living there, but it's quite crime. Crime isn't as bad as what it was, but crime is still bad in the country. So we decided to leave, like most South Africans or some South Africans do. And we ended up last year, September, moving to the Cayman Islands. And I was sure that was where we were going to live. So we sold everything and we left South Africa with 7 suitcases. And it was a bit more difficult on that side eating carnivore, even though we tried, but we leaned more towards whole foods. Like currently on my channel, I still have a lot of groceries that I purchased there. There was definitely a lot of chips that was bought there, mostly chips. Um, but meat is extremely expensive on that side. Food is quite expensive. And moving from South Africa to the Cayman, converting the rand to a Cayman dollar was times 20. So you would literally, whatever you see in monetary value on a chocolate, let's say it's $2, you add a zero and you times it with two. So that $2 chocolate becomes 40 rand. That's ridiculous. You buy a bread for 20 rand. Um, so yeah, we tried sticking to carnivore. I don't like vegetables. I love fruit. I love anything bread, but I don't like vegetables. So for me, if I have to choose, it'll be meat. So for me, it's not really
Yes.
difficult. Andrew, we introduced rice, potatoes, and a lot of vegetables for him just to balance out the budget. And then we were there for about 2 weeks, and he wasn't happy. So, luckily the opportunity came about for us to land now in Dubai. So in March of this year, we moved to Dubai, and this is where we're staying. We got used to the meat prices, so we're just doing the meat.
So, and Evelyn brings up a good point. I'm always amazed at the cuts and types of meats Chanelle can acquire. So, this leads into my next question. What is the most interesting thing, in your opinion, that you have ever eaten?
Ha. In South Africa, we eat something called afal. In Ireland, I think it's referred to as haggis, and
Yes.
traditionally in South Africa, it's they talk about it as tripe. TRIPE. And that is basically all the offcuts of the animal. So the cheeks, the stomach area, the brain, that the little feet. So they cook all of that up in a type of curry and you would eat that. So I think that's the most disgusting thing. But we grew up with it. Eventually, when we figured out what it was, um, my mom would start cooking some lamb's neck in with the stew. And that's what we ended up eating then when they had the offal. But yeah, that's about the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten. But we have some interesting things. I think on my channel, I once tried to explain what a skilpotjie is, and that is the liver that's covered in a very thin layer of fat. That's also quite nice to eat.
So, did you like the tripe or whatever you guys call it,
I think
or not?
for me, I'm a very if I know what I'm eating and no, no, it's I think it's the idea of it because obviously being cooked in the same pot, you will end up having some of those tripe pieces, haggis. You will have some of those pieces in your meat, but I think the idea it wasn't good. It wasn't great. No.
The reason why I ask is because I've had haggis because we used to have these Scottish rite like parties at a event center I used to work at, and so we would serve it, and then we get to try some of it, and it wasn't that bad. But I go to our local Sam's Club, wholesale market, and they have these packages of tripe, and I never knew what it was until you just explained it, and I always thought, well, people talk about this, maybe I should buy some, but now I'm not so sure I want to
You
try it.
have to definitely look at how to cook it because you have to clean it very, very well. If you don't clean it, especially one of the stomachs holds the actual leaves, the grass that the animals eat. So you have to make sure that you clean it very well. The cheeks, the feet. If if your afval isn't clean, it's actually very disgusting. But if you clean it quite well, it's almost like pig skin, like you get hairs on it. But
Uh,
if you cook it, it cooks slow and slow. So you cook it like you would, I would say, oxtail, for quite long. And then if you do it with a curry, and South African curry is basically a sweet curry. It's not like the Durban curry is a spicy curry, like a more traditional curry. The South African curry is
mhm.
a sweet, creamy curry. And that's very nice with it. So if you do enjoy, and it tastes like meat. It tastes like a curry stew. The texture of it will be slightly different. If you've enjoyed the taste of haggis, you will enjoy I don't know how they would prepare haggis. I've only heard of it. I had to go look up some different names for offal. So that's how I got to haggis.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they prepare it. I don't know if it's done with a curry or how it's done. So I don't know how to compare the two. But if you liked it,
I don't
you most
It was okay. I mean, I don't remember. It was like a greenish brown color, so it was kind of disgusting to look at. It was like stuffed. So they took the intestine or whatever and they stuffed it with something. I don't know if it was stuffing or sausage or some other meat. I don't
strange.
know. I don't even know if it was traditional. This is Americanized. So remember, this is America.
Okay.
So who knows? I mean, they could have stuffed it with pepperoni and mozzarella cheese for all I remember. Made it a pizza haggis, but I don't remember. I was a young girl when I worked as
Okay.
a server at this, like, it was like a wedding reception hall, and they had a bunch of the Scottish. It was like a group got together and they were celebrating Scottish traditions. So
Okay.
that's how I got to try it. But I don't remember it being like so disgusting I wouldn't eat it. It wasn't bad. And we've got
Yep.
Kendra at Consume the Goodness here. Hi, Kendra. And Lisa Carnivore Whispers here. Welcome, Lisa. And Michael from Michael's Adventures is here. Um, Welcome everybody. We are talking to Chanelle at Shandrew's Life, and she is telling us about her carnivore, and we're going to get to, she's also a minimalist specialist. So we will get to that here soon too, because that is very intriguing to me. I probably need some help with that. So what is your absolute favorite meal if money is no object?
Before I went carnivore, I would tell you hands down my macaroni and cheese. But
And
oh,
how did you make your macaroni and cheese?
it's 2 layers. So you would cook your macaroni, a whole packet. You'll put it in you layer it. You take some tomatoes that you've taken the skin off. You cut it very thin. You put that on. You salt and pepper it, and then you put cheese, and you do that twice. And you top it, and you do it in a sheet, like one of those big black sheets that goes into your pan, into your oven, and then you top it with eggs, like 5 or 6 eggs, and you bake it for 45 minutes till it goes bubbly and brown. And that was I can still eat buckets of it. I mean, buckets of it. And that was
Do you ever
pre-carnivore.
cheat? Do you ever cheat and just make your macaroni and cheese?
If you know me, since I've landed in Dubai, I can't. I don't have a grater. I don't have a pan. But I did make it a few times in the Cayman. It was comfort food for me. But no, I haven't had that since the Cayman.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that sounds amazing. What's your favorite carnivore food? If money's no
We
object.
we are now buying a picanha rump steak. That's actually one of the cheapest cuts of meat that I can find at the moment. Um, and that flavor and the combination of fat to meat, oh, it's absolutely, I have not tasted a cut of meat like that in my entire life. That is absolutely my most favorite now, currently.
How do you prepare it? Do you prepare it like rare? I find it's picanha's better if it's a little more rare.
I do everything in the air fryer. Depends on the thickness, anything from 10 to 12 minutes. So, yeah, quite rare. Medium rare,
Yeah.
I would say. Yes.
Yeah.
But then my air fryer makes the fat crispy. I put a bit of Worcester sauce on it. You guys call it Worcester sauce.
Worcester, yeah,
Worcestershire,
well, Worcestershire, Worcestershire, Worcester.
Worcester,
Where you want to
Worcester
say
sauce.
Worcester?
Worcester sauce. Like there's a town in England called Worcester, and
Yeah,
it's actually spelled exactly the same. So South Africans call it Worcester sauce. So I just
yeah.
drizzle a little bit of Worcester sauce, salt, and that's the only flavoring I use.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I smoked a picanha in our smoker last weekend, but I overdid it a little bit because I was also smoking pork belly, and I found the picanha it's not as good as if it's not rare. You have to have it red in the middle for it to be good. I personally believe
I
because the first
I
time I
think
made it perfect.
I think when you smoke it, it changes it slightly. It will change the flavor profile of it, I suppose. I've overcooked mine a few times, and I don't know. I don't know where this meat comes from. They call it a rump with a fat cap, and then in brackets picanha. I think if it was a true picanha, it will be more expensive. It has to be. I mean, this
Mhm.
is the cheapest meat I can find in Dubai at this moment in time. So, but it's lovely. It is soft and tender and juicy. I can't tell you how juicy it is.
Mhm. So you like that better than like a ribeye or something like that?
Uh, we've tried ribeyes. We are not ribeye people. I do not like the flavor of ribeye. I don't know if I haven't gotten a good quality ribeye. I don't know. I enjoy a T-bone steak. For me, before I discovered this, T-bone steak was my most favorite at home, let's call it at home meal, T-bone steak.
Awesome. Okay, so I'd like to talk to you about this other venture that you're doing because not only are you doing carnivore, but you're like an expert in minimalist living, which is very interesting. You have had to move several times, and so you probably had to downsize. So, talk to us about your channel and your minimalist lifestyle and your journey with that.
I become very passionate when I talk about, I would say, living with less. You have to put a label on everything when you're on YouTube, and that's why it's called minimalism. But it's more about the freedom of not being so drowned with decisions making and doing things, because if you have a lot of things you have to take care of them, and if you have a lot of clothes you have to wash them and pack them away. So for me it's not as much about minimalism as much as the label. It's more about what you own versus what owns you. And like you said, we had to jump countries twice, but my house in South Africa was fairly small as well. I've downsized a lot years before. And I'll tell you about that story. My little sister came to visit me, and I was doing some renovations. I asked her to come and help me renovate because in South Africa, you don't really allow anyone into your house. So they drove up 12 hours from Cape Town all the way to Johannesburg to help us renovate. And it was painting the house and, doing some cornices and skirting boards, whatever, just cosmetic things. And when she walked into my house, she was shocked because it was bursting at the seams. And the 3 weeks she was there, she helped me to literally declutter and make space. And when she left, I cried. I'm not an emotional person, but I shed a tear or two. And when I said goodbye to her, and I said to her, thank you for saving me, because that's how it felt. When she left, it felt like I could come up out of the water. And that sort of, I didn't even realize I was drowning. And
Yeah.
that for me is my passion. It's not as much as get rid of your stuff. It's more, people don't realize that everything that stands around and that they can see subconsciously talks to them. Like everything you own tells a story. It's either it needs to be done, it wasn't done, it's half a project, it's something you need to take care of. Oh, I still have to, take care of the stuff that's on this counter in this corner. So I think when people realize that their stuff talks to them and that you can quiet your space, it becomes so much less overwhelming to deal with life and stuff.
That is such great advice. And and the reason why I'm so interested in your story about this is because we remodeled a good portion of our home in 2021. And when we did that, we had to move our stuff around. And I really started to like say, do I really need this? Why do I need this? And I started to get rid of things. And I'm like, I felt so much better mentally. Now, I still have other areas of my home that weren't remodeled that I need to go through and get rid of stuff. But I just haven't made the time, and it's about making the time. It's not about having the time. And so, like, I'm so just like into your minimalist, expertise because of that, because you do feel better mentally when you clear up the clutter and everything, I
You
think.
definitely do. And that's sort of some of the advice that I give on my channel is we're all in a busy season of life to some degree. Some people don't know it. Some people is completely aware of it. And like you say, make time. But I don't want to use my one afternoon I have off in a week to declutter. So my advice is, you know, pick pick a handful. You come home tonight, and you know how women are. Some evenings we have all the energy in the world, and other evenings we have very low energy. So, those evenings when you have all the energy in the world, don't deep clean the kitchen. Just go to a drawer or a box, or just pick up a handful of stuff and go through that. And just make your decisions quickly that evening for that. And then you go sit on the couch and you watch TV. And if you do that enough times, it gets done.
Do you use lists? Because, like, part of my problem is I walk past something and I see it and I'm like, oh, I can't do it right this second, but note for later, like remind myself. And then I get to later. And because I'm like at that age where, menopause is happening, I forget. I'm like, what was that I wanted to do? So I literally have to write a to-do list to remind myself of all the things I wanted to get done today. And even if it doesn't get done today, it's still on the list for tomorrow. I have a to-do today list. So do you use anything like that to help you remember and tackle things?
Yes. At this stage in my life, we've moved countries twice. We left South Africa with 7 bags, and we left Cayman with 4. So I have nothing to
Four
declutter.
bags.
I am decluttering clothes. Um, some of my gym wear is getting old. Some of my shorts that I bought for the Cayman is way too big at this moment in time. So I am getting rid of clothes. Um, Also because things are, you dress differently in Dubai than what you did in the Cayman. So I'm buying a different type of wardrobe now. But in terms of decluttering now, I have nothing to declutter. What I am currently doing is I'm living in a studio apartment. Um, in South Africa, you would call it maids' quarters. I think there's maids' quarters that's bigger than the place we're currently staying in. But definitely not the norm. What I am doing is, as we moved in, you sort of burst at the seams with where you stuff stuff. So I am busy moving things around as and when I get time. When I open a cupboard and it frustrates me, I'm like, okay, today I'm tackling this cupboard. But that's about the only thing I'm doing currently because I own nothing.
Wow. And you feel you're fine with that, right? You feel mentally good about not. What about sentimental things? Like, did you have
I
anything, pictures that you moved with?
I had a digital photo frame in South Africa because I've started my minimalist journey years prior. So every year I would update a um, digital photo frame. So I've got all my photos digitally stored. That for me is not a problem. But I did. I actually flew down to Cape Town a few weeks before we left South Africa, and I flew everything down that I wanted to keep to my sister's house, and she's storing it for me in a plastic container. But it's stupid things. It's like my wedding dress, um,
Yes.
if the actual some hard copies of our wedding, stupid things, things. It's not even things that money can buy. it's stupid things. It's photos mostly. My wedding dress, I think the moths would have eaten that thing up by the time I get back there. I think it's eaten up already. But it's not stuff that money can buy. It's not your expensive plates or, I don't know, expensive tackies. It's literally sentimental items, like
Yep.
little bits and bobs that I value in life. That if I have to sell it, people will laugh at me. They'll go, no, sorry, unless I become, I don't know, a mass serial killer and very well known and someone gets a fetish, that you'll get no money for it, nothing. And that's what sentimental items are, right? It's stuff that
Yeah.
literally it it literally means something to you. And funnily enough, most of that was displayed as ornaments in my house. And nothing was packed away. It was all out that I could see it so that I can value what it means to me.
Yes. Let's go through a few of the comments if you don't mind.
No,
Thomas
go.
says, I was thinking of changing my channel name to Target Prime Source of Nutrients for the way ancestors ate, which is called Carnivore Rib. I like that. And then Evelyn says, haggis is usually cooked in real or fake stomach and mixed with herbs and spices, sometimes oats. And yeah, it was like a meatloaf, if you know what. That's what I remember, but it was a really weird color. It was like green, darkish greenish brown. I
Because
think
they
they made it
do it out of the
it was
stomach.
gross looking.
No, it's made out of the stomach that holds the leaves. So that stomach is actually green.
Yeah. Well, what we ate was green,
Mm.
so I don't know. It didn't look appealing, but I tried it because I was brave. So, Lisa says, "Thank you, Risa. I'm pushing myself to be around people again. My local park is just enough for my comfort." And then Evelyn calls it Worcester sauce. Worcester sauce is so much easier to say. I agree. You know what? I'm going to start calling it Worcester sauce because I think that is so much easier to say, but no one here will understand what I'm saying. Uh,
No one
and
understands what I'm saying because we all talk. I kept on ordering when we order takeaways. It's called takeouts. It's not takeaways. And then I kept on ordering tomato sauce, and no one's sending me tomato sauce. Eventually, I freaked, and I'm like, "Why can't you send me tomato sauce?" They go, "What is tomato sauce?" I'm like, "The red stuff." They go, "Oh, ketchup." I'm like, "Oh, right, ketchup then." So no,
oh, so
I need.
you call ketchup tomato sauce,
Yes, because it's made from
whereas
tomatoes.
yes, it is. I usually call tomato sauce like well, we say tomato, but tomato sauce I usually call that like
Like a pasta
like
sauce.
marinara, yeah, pasta
Mm,
sauce.
mm.
So that's funny. Anyway, you were
We
going to say
call
something. I apologize.
we make a sauce that's made from tomatoes and onions, and we call it shishaba. And that
Hmm.
tomato and onion, I think, is sort of like a marinara sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah, we call it
Yeah.
shishaba. See, I had to learn a whole new language moving abroad.
And Tony Delisle is here. This is Chris Cook in Nashville's dad. Welcome, Tony. Thank you
Oh,
for joining us. And yep, they're saying hi to Papa Nashville Tony. Um,
that boy can
and
cook. I look at his food. I'm like, I wish I had that ambition to cook. I hate cooking.
uh, that's interesting you say that because I didn't love cooking, and then when I was keto for 7 years, I learned to like love to cook because I love to eat. But now that I'm carnivore, I'm like, oh my goodness, where has this been my whole time? Because literally, like my go-to is throwing some frozen hamburger patties in an air fryer and then scrambling some eggs, and within like 10 minutes, I'm done. I don't have to meal prep as much, except for bacon. I always have to fry up some bacon and some hard-boiled eggs. But I'm like, oh my goodness, I love carnivore just because it's so much easier than keto as far as cooking. So if anybody doesn't like to cook, carnivore is for you. Trust me.
Yep,
It really
definitely.
is.
I don't have time to cook. Air fryer steak. It's really.
Yeah, you just chuck stuff in your air fryer. My new favorite thing is, so I do have, and this is a sentimental thing, I do have my godmother, my Aunt Clara, who passed away in the 1980s. I have her cast iron skillet that is antique. And my mom gave it to me because she was my godmother. And it's like a 13-inch, so it's kind of bigger. And I like to put a chuck roast in it. I like to sear the chuck roast with bacon grease in that, right? And then you pour like 3 cups of water and you cover it and you bake it in the oven for 3 hours. And voila,
Oh,
you have this beautiful piece of beef with au jus, that
the
little
juice. Yeah.
juice, whatever you say. I think that's French. The juice. You have it with the juice, and then you can just like shred it, fork tender, and then you eat it with the juice. And oh my gosh, I got that from Carnivore Quest channel. I don't think these are
Yes.
really recipes that people can patent, though. It's just meat and the way our grandma and grandpas used to cook. The way the people who
I
came
used to
before us, they.
love cooking in the oven. For me, I had big massive clay pots, clay casseroles, almost like La Creuset, but not the cast iron. It was a clay. And I would put my meat in that in the oven. I used to love cooking like that, any meat. Now I have a slow cooker, so I just take my meat, put it in the slow cooker, put the lid on, climb into bed, voila, breakfast is
Yep.
done.
Yep. Oh, I think I. Oh well, and Evan says I'm a maximalist. Yes, I am a maximalist too, trying to work on minimalism. Um, how big would you say that your studio apartment is? Do you have that in feet, like square feet, or how would you
How
say?
how bad is my feed? Because I know my internet is low. Is my feed
Oh,
bad?
you're good. I think you're good. Can someone post in the comments? So maybe it's like
Bed,
800 square feet, maybe.
kitchen, that's where the magic happens. Me, bathroom, front door. I'm
Wow.
turning
I
the
bet you.
other way around. There we go.
Wow. I bet you that's about like 400 or 500 square feet, maybe. It's just one room with the bathroom.
It's 7 steps from the bed to the bathroom door. 7 steps.
Wow. Wow.
It's good to clean though.
Wow. Yes. So my house isn't huge. It's 1,700 square feet, 3 levels, finished basement.
Okay.
But I hate cleaning it. Like it is not. And my house isn't really that big compared to other people's houses. Some people have like 4,000 square foot houses. And sorry, but that's not for me. I don't even like cleaning what I have. So I would love to clean. And if you want to increase your area, you just go outside or go somewhere, right? You don't feel trapped.
I have not a problem to live with myself. I know a lot of people have issues living with themselves, so they need to be busy and out. And I have no issue living with myself. My husband is not a fan of this. He loves his stuff. It was very difficult for him to pack up everything in South Africa. And on a Saturday and Sunday when he's off, like Friday was a public holiday in Dubai, and we go out to a mall or a coffee shop or whatever. We drink way too much coffee. We do some work and we come home in the afternoon for a nap. He goes out in the evenings to gym. We're up generally at 4:30, 4 o'clock in the mornings, and then we go for a walk early mornings. So I don't know. We're living in the space. I'm not materialistic at all. Um, I like having nice stuff, and if something is expensive and I want it, I get it, because if you don't waste your money on trivial things, you can do that. I have no issue with it. I don't think it's for everybody, but for me, and Dubai is lovely. I walk up the road, I catch a train, and I go anywhere I want to in the city. So
That's
loving it.
awesome.
Mm.
Kendra is not in the chat, but thank you for being here. Lisa says, wish my husband would be a minimalist in the garage. It drives me crazy. So do you have any plans for coaching or being like a minimalism coach for people, like people who need to declutter their lives? That is something I think you could really do, even
I
if not.
actually, I had a few people talking to me, and at my last few videos definitely leaned into giving advice, and I felt not unworthy. I just felt that I needed to get some, I don't know, something behind my name, just so that when I'm in a conversation that I don't harm someone, so that I can actually pick up on when someone needs more harm than just a friendly chat. So I am busy doing a coaching certification, life transformation coaching certification.
Mm.
And I'm very excited about that. It's definitely like I'm made for it. I used to be a hairdresser, so I've heard and spoken to so many people. But I think when you have a channel, you do have to have a bit more of a responsibility to not just talk, but actually know, am I helping or am I hurting?
Mhm.
And I don't want to hurt, I want to help. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm kind of on the same path only for the health coaching, but I think that is fantastic because I really think that you could help people. Let's just put it this way. I hope they're not watching right now, but there are people in my family who are probably bordering on hoarding. Like, and my neighbors, I have several neighbors in the neighborhood that are bordering on hoarders, is what we call them. And that's where you have so much stuff in your house, you can barely move in your house. You probably watch the TV shows. You know what I'm talking about.
but you know what? I believe that there's a phase in a woman's life where she almost loses herself with the responsibility of being a woman, like working, kids, and just general life, that one day you wake up and you have this house full of stuff. I was there. I didn't even realize it was happening. My little sister walked in. I call her my little sister. She's a year and a half younger than me. And we're all deep in our 40s, but my little sister. And she like looked around. She goes, what's happening here? Like, why? And it's just things that happened in my life events. I think it didn't make me depressed. I wasn't depressed. It was just I was blind to the way I was living. It was just I was blind, and I could not. When she said to me, "Why are you holding on to this?" I had two what those big totes of perming perming what do you call them? Perming rods,
Curlers, yeah,
curlers,
rods.
all the sizes on planet Earth. And she's like, "Why are you holding on to this?" I'm like, "I'm a hairdresser. I need rollers." And she's like, "No, you don't. You're not a hairdresser anymore. Stop it." So things like that. It was very interesting. When she gave me her perspective of, you know what, Chanelle, you have money to go buy another blanket. If you threw this one out and by accident you might need it. You know, if you have if the 10 blankets you're keeping is not enough, you have money to go get another one. So it was
You know what's
interesting.
funny about that is when you have a house for 20 years like me and you have plenty of nooks and crannies to shove stuff in, you don't remember where you put it. And so what usually happens with me is my husband is an organizer, and so he organizes and reorganizes, but he moves stuff around, and then I never know where it is. So what ends up usually happening is I end up buying the same thing again and again. So I end up with 4 of the same thing because so what you just said is totally true. Just
I'm
get
just
rid of the stuff
stingy.
if you're not using it, and then buy another one if you need it again at some point.
I'm way too stingy. I literally, even if I have 20, I don't know why I would have it, but if even if I had 20 scissors, they would definitely be grouped together. So I'm very good with putting my crap that I hoard together. Um, so I hate rebuying. I will literally not do something because I will not. I have this thing. I know I have this thing. I'm not going to waste my money. I will not rebuy it. I will make a different plan to do it, but I won't rebuy it.
Yeah, no,
I'm just
I've done
stingy.
some rebuying just because I can't remember where it was, and then I come across the one that I lost,
But
and
I
then I'm like,
can also tell you that life in America, like we earned some Cayman dollars for a while now, it is a lot easier to get onto your feet and start living a life and a life of abundance in America than what it is in South Africa. I can tell you that. I
mm,
worked full time. My husband worked full time. And even though we lived a comfortable life, if there was kids in this marriage, I don't know how we would have survived on our salaries. And we earned fairly good salaries. So it's so much easier to rebuy in in the Americans than what it
America.
is in the Africans, because poverty is real in South Africa. It really is.
Yeah. Things are getting tougher here though over the last few years just because things used to be very cheap and reasonable, and for whatever reason they're increasing. I don't think it's as bad as it was in South Africa, but it's getting a little harder to be so wasteful, if you know what I'm saying.
That's the
Like,
thing.
y-
It's just a different mindset. Like you're talking about rebuying, I will not, because what if I get my water bill next month and they decide to charge me 30,000 Rand for it, you know? And if I don't pay it, they cut my water and there's no way to fight it because our systems are broken. So
yeah.
it's um it's a vicious cycle. But yeah, everybody's always say that what's important to one person might not be important to another person. And that brings us back to carnivore. Like a lot of
Mhm.
people say carnivore is expensive, but is it really? I buy meat and Worcester sauce and Redmond's real salt. That's it. Lots of coffee. You know, other people buy all the other things on top of the meat that they have to eat. So is carnivore really that
Well,
more expensive?
no, it's not. And I recently just went carnivore, right, in the last 60 days. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna have to buy so much more meat and it's gonna be expensive. But I cut out, and for a while there, I was doing like a little bit of dirty things like Quest chips, right? A box of Quest chips is $20. So now I'm, instead of buying that, and even so, my husband, I even got him off the Quest chips because that's why I was buying them for him. And then I found myself eating them.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that, I'm getting another chuck roast or three
Easily.
packages of chicken or more eggs and or more bacon. And it's like, really, I may be spending less because I'm not buying the expensive bottles of tomato sauce, like the sugar free, as you call it, tomato sauce, ketchup, or,
Catch up.
the sauces. I'm not using the
Mm.
sauces anymore because I'm using the sauce from the meat and butter. And
Mm.
so, and now I'm buying butter in huge wholesale packages. So, really, for those people who say carnivore is more expensive, not if you cut out all this other
It's
expensive
definitely a
stuff.
mind shift. You have to shift your mind from, and I stopped saying to myself, oh, look at the stuff I'm not allowed to have. What I started saying to myself is, if you're clean carnivore for a long time and you eat one thing off plan, one thing, you actually feel it in your fingers or in your back or I don't know, your neck or your shoulders. You feel it in your body. So instead of saying, oh, I'm not allowed to have it, say, I'm choosing, especially us women in our 40s that's starting to experiencing another side of being a woman. You know, it's definitely a lot easier going through all of this on carnivore because a lot of the side effects is no longer there.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny you said that too, because we had a cookout last weekend and my son, who's not keto or carnivore, thought he was doing something good and he smoked some pork, but he said he put a rub on it, right? And I'm like, I knew when I ate it, I'm like, this
You
is no
put what on
bueno.
it?
It's called like spices, a
Okay.
pre-made seasoning,
Okay.
we call it rub. We call it rub.
Okay.
So he put pre-made seasoning on it, and I'm like, I know this has probably got sugar in it. I know it's probably got gluten in it because a lot of the store-bought seasonings have gluten in them. But I'm like, okay, I'm just going to eat a little portion of it, knowing that this isn't totally clean. Well, let me tell you, within 2 days after that, my knees, and I don't have knee problems. My knees were so painful that I could barely walk. And I'm like, I know what it was. I don't need a knee replacement. I just ate some of that pork that had the seasoning on it. So what you just said there was when you go strict carnivore, even for, let's see, I'm what, 60 days now, even for 60 days your body starts to heal, and the minute you reintroduce stuff, like she said, your ear might hurt, your earlobe, or like your
Funny
pinky might
things.
hurt, or like
Funny
weird
things.
elbow pain. Yeah. Like stuff you didn't even have a problem with before. But that
I
just tells
itch
you how
here by
much
my side.
inflammation.
I itch over here when I eat. Bacon of all things. Yeah, makes me itchy. So I can't. Well, luckily I
Oh,
can't eat bacon because I itch from it now. But it's an investment to buy bacon in Dubai. So I'm not too sad about it.
that makes me so sad because like bacon is my number one go-to snack when I get stressed. And I know you're not supposed to snack on carnivore, but give me some slack here because I'm still, I don't
I
know, trying to
believe
break snacking.
that we put way too much pressure on ourselves to live a life other people want us to live. I
Mm.
don't believe if you need I call it self-soothing. I've learned that that is what I need, because if I'm not going to snack bacon to self-soothe like I do Starbucks, you've seen my posts. I do massive amounts of coffee and milk, and if I don't do that, then I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy myself a tin of condensed milk, a Twix bar, and a Kit Kat. So you know what? Is my Starbucks coffee too much, or is my bacon snack too much? Like, you choose. You choose. So
Well,
I believe,
and that's
as
exactly right.
we need to
That's
soothe,
exactly
we
right.
we feel we feel vulnerable because of things that's happening in our lives, and we don't have, because I believe we keep ourselves too busy. And because we're not slowing down, we don't have the capacity to just, unless you're the type of person that needs that control and you push through it, because that's your way of coping and self-soothing. That's a different
Mhm.
way of looking at it. So if you're not that type of person that will white knuckle through this, I want some of this and I can't have it, then you're going to be the type that needs a snack. And if you need a snack, have a freaking snack and enjoy your day. That's
Thank you.
my
So
opinion.
I'm gonna clip this tiny little thing that says, "If you need a snack, have a freaking snack," because that is because. And you mentioned something else about women, our age group. I'm a little older than you, I think, but I don't think we're that far off in age. I'm 49, and
I'm
some things
46.
are starting. Yeah, some things are starting to happen that I'm not really liking. Pushing 50, and it's like, and no offense to our gentlemen friends because they have hormones too, but they don't have hormones like we have hormones. And when we get that cortisol plus all of the weird stuff that's happening at our age, and then something stressful happens, that is a recipe for disaster. And that is a recipe for walking by the fridge and having a snack.
We
So
can't
while you're
cope.
supposed
We
to
literally,
fast,
because our hormones are all over the place and they start fluctuating or they're depleted, we literally cannot. And if you know the psychology behind, it's very interesting. We literally cannot cope, and we put these things in place for us during the day to cope. And if we take them away, and now you're taking your usual food away, how are you supposed to cope? How are you supposed to ride the wave? There's going to come a time when you're going to say, you know what, I don't need the bacon, and then you will let it go. But for
mhm,
now,
yep,
you need the bacon, you have it. If you need a second portion of steak, have it. I believe,
yep.
don't lean into dairy. A lot of people lean into dairy on carnivore, which I'm not a fan of. Says the one that drinks 500 mils of milk a day, but I don't I don't do other types of, and they're going to kill me because it's low fat milk, but I don't do other types of dairy. But a lot of carnivores do lean into dairy and heavy whipping cream, and that's going to stall your weight loss. That's going to stall your progress, and you're not going to feel as good as you would without the dairy. I,
Right.
I have cut dairy on occasion, you know that. It's just, my life is better with milk, and it doesn't really affect me to a point where I feel it stalls my weight loss, but it doesn't affect me physically. So
Mhm.
I'm doing my milk and coffee.
Yes, and Lewis is here. Hi, Lewis. And
Yeah.
Lewis says he loves your accent. That is a South African accent, correct?
Afrikaans,
Afrikaans.
very
It's
Afrikaans.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
But
Let's
my
just go
husband
through a
works with,
few more.
oh,
Oh,
sorry,
go ahead.
questions? No, no, no. I just want to say my
N-
husband works with Irish people, and I love their accent as well. I'm used to the American accent by now, but I also love accents.
Yes. Oh, Granny Boo's here too. Welcome, Granny Boo. Lynn, 22Q Cat's here. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Lynn or Evelyn says there's tomato paste, tomato sauce, marinara, and ketchup.
Yes.
And Lisa's cooking in cast iron right now. I love cast iron. And then Thomas says, my air fryer stopped working, but loved cooking my steaks in the air fryer. Well, we need to get you another air fryer, Thomas. You need to contact some of those places that maybe Mitch will give you one of his because he's got like 20 of them right now because companies keep sending him.
Really?
Tony's going to smoke some beef back ribs in an hour. Thank you, Tony, for the suggestion for the smoke tubes. Those are great. I used them last weekend. Oh, here's a question. Evelyn says, Chanelle, do you have any special cooking pans, dishes, etc. that make cooking easier for you? I think you mentioned one, but go ahead and answer.
And I use my slow cooker. And I won't be able to. No, I won't say I won't be able to function without it. I'm very resourceful, so I'll function. But those two, and my dishwasher. No kitchen is complete without a dishwasher.
I agree. I don't understand these people who have dishwashers and don't use them, and I've run across a few.
No, it's like people that don't drink coffee. Like, you shouldn't trust them. If they stand there going, I need dishwasher. It's self-soothing, okay? Let's just say they're self-soothing with dishes.
Yes, I agree. Even if you have to scrub all the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher, because my dishwasher is not very good. So I basically washed them before I stick them in the dishwasher, but I still have to have them.
I will run 2 cycles, but I won't do that. I didn't have a dishwasher in the Cayman. So, and I do have, when we just got here, I bought some more Victorinox knives, steak knives. I love my Victorinox steak knives. Like, I won't be able to function without my Victorinox steak knives.
That is awesome. And Lisa, all her family is going to be there, and her husband's smoking a pork butt. I love my smoker. Obviously, that would be a little too big for you. But it's like 13 years old, and it's like my outdoor cooker that puts a good flavor on things. So that's one thing I love. And it was $200 back when we bought it, but it's like still going. Like, I love it because it hasn't broken.
You see, expensive things tend to last.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions here. I wish I could be like I Dream of Jeannie and my house would be clean. That's kind of how I feel, especially because we always are entertaining people. People always want to come over for parties. And so they invite themselves over. So I find myself forcing myself to clean, that's how my house gets clean, is that we are constantly entertaining people.
How expensive is it to hire a cleaner in America? Because in South Africa, I had a cleaning girl on and off, either twice a week or once a week for years. My last one worked for me for 9 years. So for years, it's very inexpensive. And here in Dubai, I can literally book a girl now for tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock for 60 dirhams. So I think it's cheap enough.
So I can't tell you I can only tell you in American dollars.
Okay.
And I can only give you the price from 20 years ago. If anyone has a cleaning service, please post. I think we paid $30 a month for 2 visits, which 20 years ago, I mean, that's cheap. I'm sure it's a lot more money now. But the woman we had clean broke our toilet, cracked it. And it was like we would have to clean before she would come and clean. So I'm like, really what I need someone to do is organize my house for me so that someone can come clean.
See, that's the difference, because you do get professional organizers as well. So if you have a dirty room that someone needs to organize and help you organize, you can get that. You can outsource that help. But if you need someone to come in and mop your floors, then you can outsource that, because I hate mopping floors. For me, we're looking at getting one of those little, for my little bedroom, getting one of those electric vacuums that will mop as well, because I hate it. I hate it.
Yes. I don't mind it, but see, we bought this very expensive sweeper that sweeps, it mops, it's got a mop attachment to it. It does all, but I hate it because it's not an upright sweeper. It's a canister with different attachments to it, but and you fill it with water. Yes, I still do it, but I like
the object. That means I still
But
have to get up and do it. I hate it.
it's hard to carry up and down. We have 3 levels in my house. It's a tri-level, so I
Oh,
have to carry this thing. I almost need an expensive sweeper for every floor, but it was very expensive, and I'm not gonna buy 3 of them. Um,
well, that's good to get your step count
yes.
in.
Yes. Well, actually, I usually wait till my husband's home and he carries it up and down the stairs for me so I don't trip and fall. So that's usually what I
Where do you
do.
find time in your day to clean that much? Because to clean this house takes me an hour and a half, and it's deep cleaned. I mean, every single thing has been moved away and swept and mopped and dusted. Like,
So
where do you
if it's
find
a
time
party,
in the day to clean
I
3
don't.
stories?
I don't because I work too. I have a full time
And
job.
doesn't it become very overwhelming when you walk in a space and you see that it's dusty and you know you haven't touched it in months? Like, doesn't that
Yeah,
become very overwhelming?
I just want to go to bed and pull the cover over my head. But usually what happens is so I'm the one who hosts all of our family like holidays. So
Okay.
usually what I have to do is I burn all of my vacation. I get 5 weeks of vacation a year for my job. I burn all of my vacation and I have to take the week off before a holiday just to clean and cook for my family. Like
Uh,
like
I'm
that's what
so
I'm doing on
sorry
my
to hear
vacation.
that. It's really sad. I am. I must look serious when I said I'm so sorry to hear that. It must be draining to know that your entire holiday is going to be spent cleaning. Or does that energize you because you get the type of person that stuff energizes them?
It doesn't energize me, but so I live next door to my parents, right? And they're 80 and they're 80. Let's just put it that way. So it gives me a sense of accomplishment because A, I do get a clean house out of it, so that's nice. But I want to be able to host the family functions while my parents are still living because it's important to them. And so then when my mom gets tired, she can just walk home next door and leave the family functions. So, I mean, honestly, I'm not going to travel 5 weeks anyway because
It's
traveling's
very stressful.
expensive. So, I mean, I got to use this vacation time for something. So, it's kind of a mental break from my job. It gives me a chance to do something else. It's a chance to get a clean house and whatnot.
Reset, I
So, I
suppose, for the
guess.
new year.
I'm sorry, what?
Reset yourself for the new year.
Yeah, reset myself. Yeah, because, I do host Christmas. So, my house is clean around that time of year. Easter, I do Thanksgiving. And then throughout the summer, the friends like to come over, but usually I just clean my bathroom and kind of pick up. And we have like what I don't know what you guys call it, but it's like a man cave for the men. Our garage turned into like a little sports area where they go and watch all these TVs and watch sports
Oh, no.
stuff and
In South
soccer and
Africa, we
football.
just
And
do it
so,
all together. You check the woman here in the background going, ah.
yeah, so usually they hang out in the garage and they only need to use the restroom. So, like, they're not really looking at my house. So, sometimes for certain things, I don't have to like deep clean.
It's also, in my opinion, I've hosted friends in dirty houses before because you know what? You're not there for my house. And if you're not happy with what I present, you don't have to come back. In general, my plates will be
Well,
clean and my cooking surfaces will be. But yeah, if it's too dusty for your liking, don't come visit me. Invite me to your place then.
yeah, yeah. And then that's happened too, where it's not been totally clean. It's like, you know what? We live in our house. We live in our
Exactly.
house. So, and I'm very busy. So it's not going to be perfect all the time. Although I did have a friend say last week, my husband went over to her house to fix something for her because she's by herself. And she goes, I'm so sorry. My house isn't as clean as what Amy keeps yours. And I just laughed. I'm like, she only comes over when we have parties, and I've spent like 40 hours deep cleaning. She doesn't
That's
see
what
what it
makes
looks
you a
like on a
good
day to day
wife.
basis.
If people think
Yeah.
your house is clean and you know it's not, then you're a good wife.
Yeah. That's
Now,
funny. I
I
just thought it
do
was funny.
find
She thinks it's always clean.
I do find it very overwhelming. Like I said, for the past 9 years, I I would clean somewhat, pack stuff away, keep it organized. I didn't have to dust or mop or scrub a toilet in the past 9 years. It's very repetitive, I must say, being a housewife and having to, keep it clean. It's not the most fun job around. I can tell you that much.
It's I do have help because we both work and we have several levels of the house. My
Yeah.
husband's area of the house is the basement, so he always cleans the basement and the basement bathroom, and then I clean the upper 2 levels. So it's not like I'm doing this by myself. He does help me, and he's very efficient at cleaning. And honestly, when you get in a groove, you have a routine. And I don't know how you do this, but I always start with one area and work my way around, dusting, sweeping, whatever, wiping things down. And it's like the same process every time I do it. And I think that makes it more efficient and take less time. And I don't know if you could speak to, do you have, when you're cleaning, do you have like a routine?
It depends on my season in life, because when I was in the Cayman, I wasn't really leaning into YouTube like I am now. So I had a lot more time. And then, yes, I do it a lot more, on rotation. Like I do certain things, like you say, in routine. These days, I grab it as it comes up because I'm leaning into YouTube a lot more and I'm expanding my business a lot more. So I have a lot less free time. So it's definitely a lot more random these days. But when I decide I need to deep clean today, then it's definitely on rotation. Like I start in a certain section, I move my way through. Yes.
Yeah. And I did post Chanelle's channel. I pinned it at the top at Chandru's Live. So please, if you're not already, go subscribe to her. She's got an amazing channel. And Risa says, Amy, I've had a Ninja Woodfire Grill for almost 3 years now. So much easier than coal. Mine's electric. So I have an electric smoker. It's just a big master built. So I think the Ninja ones are a little bit smaller. So for day-to-day stuff, that's great. But when you host parties, you need to be able to shove as much meat in that thing as you want. So I have a big master built that holds a lot of meat. So when we have company, let's see if there's any. So here's an interesting thing. Risa says I have a Weber charcoal grill, but it was a lot of work to clean it. It broke and I got rid of it. I don't clean the inside of my smoker. I clean the racks that the meat touches, because the inside of the smoker to me is seasoned. Like the meat's not touching that. Yeah, does there grease get in it and stuff like that? But I only clean the trays and the parts that are removable, but I don't go in and like spray the inside of my smoker. I don't think you need to. Your meat's not touching it. And they say even, and I don't know if you know anything about this, but they say to even not wash your cast iron with anything other than water, because the heat, you don't want to lose the grease seasoning on it. If you use dish soap or anything, that removes that. And they say when you heat it up, it's going to kill anything that
Oh, it's
you
like
want to keep that grease on there.
it's like a braai grid in South Africa. When they do it on the open fire, you never wash your grid. You just chuck it back onto the fire. You have a brush that you brush it with, or
Yeah.
newspaper, and or onion. They clean it with the onion. You must try that with your grids.
Ooh.
You take your tongs and half an onion, and you just put an onion over it. The sugar in it will actually flame up your fire flames, and it will actually burn off any excess stuff that's there. And well, that's on fire. I don't know,
Oh,
but I
here
think
we
it'll
go.
work on
Okay.
the smoker if you have open meat.
Wow. So Thomas lives in New Jersey. I believe in New Jersey. Correct me if I'm wrong, Thomas. He said it cost me over $200 to get my kitchen and bathroom cleaned.
Once a
Couldn't
month,
afford it.
or more than once a month? Like, is that a once off, or is that a? Because that's
I mean, he'll
expensive,
have
eh?
to explain, but it sounds like probably just one time. Explain that. Yeah. Just those
Because
2 rooms
literally,
it cost. Yeah.
so we have to, if let's say we work on 50 dirhams, then it's times 4 to get it to $1. So that's 100, 200.
Yeah.
50, 100, 150, 200. Yeah, so it becomes $200. But then I get it for an hour, and my place gets cleaned in an hour.
The whole place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow,
But see,
that's
because
crazy.
this is what's happening, because we lived in South Africa and I used to pay my girl 180 Rand for a day. And it went up just before we left to 200 Rand a day. Now, what's ridiculous is we're very used to big amounts. In South Africa, you don't have small amounts for anything. So as soon as you hear the small amounts, we think it's cheap. It's cheap,
Right.
but it's not, because as soon as you take that 200, you times it with 2. So 200 becomes 2,000, then it becomes 4,000. No, I'm lying. Oh, no, it becomes cheap because that's then times 20. So it's like $2. No, I can't use my calculator
Wow.
now. But you divide it with
I
20. 200 divided by, so it becomes $20. $20 for a day. So if you
wow.
convert it to
Risa
back to dollars,
Risa says I paid to have my rug steam cleaned. Last time it was $1,000.
that's expensive.
I think I'd
Why
be
is
investing in a steam cleaner and something to hang my rugs on and steam on myself. That's crazy.
But see, there's work shortage in South Africa, so people will, and the Zimbabweans
Work.
work really hard. They work so well. They excellent for workers.
Yes. And then Lynn is just saying, yeah, Chanel, you don't have to come back to my house. So true. Exactly.
Yeah. If we're happy in our own spaces, that's all that matters. Is we need to be happy in our own spaces, right?
Correct. Lisa's saying she tried a Waterloo. That's a fizzy drink with flavor. And I
Okay.
tried this weekend. Someone gave me Spindrifts, which are like soda water with a little bit of like grapefruit flavoring or something. There's a little bit of sugar in there, natural, and a little bit of carbs. But I tried one. Now maybe that's why my knee hurt. I don't know because I did
It
have
could
one
be
of
the
those, but
carbonated water.
it's carbonated water and
Mm.
it's got a little bit of natural flavoring in it, but there is like 3 carbs in it, and I don't like that. But I mean, once in a while, having one, I don't think is going to hurt, just because
I
I don't want to throw them out.
I really don't enjoy fizzy drinks or cool drinks unless there's gin in there, and because we don't really drink anymore, and you can't buy liquor really in Dubai, it's very expensive. So I literally don't drink any of these things anymore. I drink water and coffee, which I think is good for me, because I think it's difficult if you're used to having fizzy drinks to cut that. I think will be difficult because it's a very
Well,
specific texture and flavor, and you can't really replace that with much.
so I do like the fizzy drinks just to change something up, and I'm trying, you're going to laugh at this, I'm trying to drink less coffee because I wasn't feeling well and I was drinking 2 big pots of coffee a day. So I'm down to 1 pot.
Okay.
So I have to replace that with something, and I don't always just want regular water. So the fizzy water, the sparkling water is kind of like a nice treat for me. And the other thing is we hang out with people who drink alcohol. So when I go out now, I just order soda water with lime at the bar, and it makes me feel like I'm drinking, but I'm not. But it just gives me like the experience
Mm.
of I'm out with friends and not drinking alcohol, but I have something to drink and it's available. So that's another instance why I would drink fizzy, the
I,
sparkling water.
when I'm at an event where I know I'm socially obligated to drink a normal something, I drink a Sprite Zero. And that's very sweet for me at this moment in time. But I enjoy a Sprite Zero now that you talk. But I haven't had one in such a long time. Now that you've spoken about being out, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I do when I'm out.
Yes, and Risa says the Ninja is electric too. It holds 1 brisket. I don't host large gatherings anymore, so it fits 22 whole chicken wings. Yeah, if we ever, you know, got rid of the big smoker, I would do something like that. Um,
Will be good.
Oh yeah, Traeger. They have a Traeger. Traeger grills are expensive. If I ever wanted another one, I would like to get one like a Traeger. I think they're at least $1,000. But you can push a button on your phone and it drops the pellets in. And for things like brisket takes 20 hours. And
Hmm.
so I hate having to get up every hour through the night to put pellets in it manually. So I would like to have something like that. I mean, the one that I have works. So I don't feel like spending money on something I don't need. Let's see if there's any more questions. Cindy DeManch is here. Our friend Cindy. Hi, Cindy.
Hi,
Welcome.
Cindy.
Aaron Booby Goats is here. Oh,
We
so
missed
she
the
doesn't
tip.
like Spindrift. Oh, Risa says I used to do my own steam cleaning, but the steam cleaner broke. Hubby refused to buy another. Well, I think for $1,000 you can get a pretty nice, decent steam cleaner.
No, I think you must make
But
hubby clean the stuff that you used to clean with a steam cleaner. He'll quickly buy you another one.
yes. Well, I'll make him write the check for the rugs. He'll probably buy you another steam cleaner instead. Yep, people saying hi. I know I'm way behind in chat here, so I apologize to everybody. Let me see if I can. Oh, actually, I'm not really. Okay, so I don't know how long we've been here for over an hour. I don't know what your time frame is. We can continue on.
I go to bed at
Or
8:30, so we've got another hour and a half, I think.
okay. So, what is your have you had any unexpected benefits to eating carnivore that you weren't really like
When I went
you
clean
were surprised?
carnivore, like we all know about the health benefits. Like we can't even, deny the health benefits that come with it, the better sleep, the brain fog that disappears, like all of that. Yes. What I didn't realize is the fact that I buy meat once a week because I know how much we eat. I tend to buy, what we need. There's no food wastage. Cleaning is a breeze. Cooking takes literally no time. And I don't have to worry about, am I eating the right quantity? Am I eating at the right time? Do I have enough energy? Like, I don't have to worry about any of that. And I know that the scale, even though it's slow, it will go down. So for me, the simplicity, look, cleaning up the fatty, greasy air fryer pan is a bit of a thing the whole time. But other than that, the simplicity of it and the way it just naturally fits into a busy lifestyle, that's awesome. I love it.
Yes, I would agree. Have you had any drawbacks to carnivore? Like anything that you can think of as that would be a negative?
Yeah, obviously there's a social aspect where it becomes awkward at some point. Luckily, because we're new in town, we don't know a lot of people. Andrew's actually traveling a lot. He's struggling to eat when he's out of town. He's just struggling to find clean food because they put garlic and a lot of spices on all their foods. So we're having an issue with that. But I think no. I think if you're committed to making something work, you'll make it work. So no, I
I
haven't seen a
agree.
drawback.
Do you do any intermittent fasting or extended fasting?
I don't like fasting. I naturally fast because of the way carnivore works. I have breakfast and I'll have an early dinner and then I'm done. So I'll have breakfast anything from 6 till 10 o'clock. That'll be breakfast, and then I eat very quickly after that again. I'll have my next meal about 2 or 3 hours later maximum, and then I'm done for the day. I don't eat again. And that's naturally. On weekends, we tend to do 3 meals, and we tend to do KFC as a cheat meal, but only the chicken part, not the bread and the sauces and the dips and the things, only the
Right,
chicken
right, right.
part. But no, you will naturally start fasting when you're ready, when your body's ready. Because when I started carnivore, I was eating 3 meals. I was eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. And it naturally, when we started doing the 10,000 steps, that was my third month on carnivore. And I naturally went over to only having the 2 meals. But again, it depends on how your cycle flows. There does come a few days just before I go into my cycle where I'm hungry. I will literally eat, and not massive pieces of meat, like 3 or 4 small meals during the day. And that will last for 2 or 3 days, and I'll just go on with my life. I don't burn brain space on fasting and when I should eat and should I be eating this and can we have that. I don't lose brain space on that. For me, there's bigger things in life to worry about.
Isn't it amazing too? And I don't know if you notice this, how much you like the one thing I noticed is the food noise. And when I say food noise, like I was always thinking about snacking, like really bad. Whereas now, maybe once a day, I'm like, oh, I'm a little hungry, but I don't have time to cook right now. Maybe I'll just grab some bacon out of the fridge. Whereas before, I'm like, those Quest chips, 3 bags of them are calling my name. I need cheese. I was always snacking on cheese every time I passed the fridge. Um, so isn't it amazing how when you go carnivore, and I'm sure you experience this too, that like all of those thoughts about food
You
just
have to
kind
go
of go
clean
away?
enough though. If you keep on having a lot of cheese, I believe your food noise takes a lot longer to die down. And if you have, like you said, the pre-made um, spices, like the pre-mixed things, you will have a lot more food noise for a lot longer because you don't go clean enough. But I believe if you go clean
Yep.
enough, your food noise. I used to, on my way to work, I used to stop for a muffin. I used to drive out because the last job that I had, I worked from home and they were very lenient. So I would literally at like 9 o'clock get into my car, drive down to Woolworths, buy myself some scones or muffins or whatever and a cappuccino and drive back home. And biltong. I don't know if you guys know what biltong is, but it's different than jerky, but it's a cured dried meat. So I would buy
Oh, I've
biltong
heard of
or
it.
drivors. Mm. And then I would
Yeah.
drive back home and have that during the day, all day, because you kept on thinking like, I want
Mhm.
this, I feel like that, I'm craving this, and I'm hungry, and you're never full. And yeah, no, food noise is lovely on, or the lack of food noise on carnivore is
I
awesome.
agree. I gave up the cheese. The only dairy I do is butter right now.
Mm.
So I agree. Like it's gone. I don't I thought I will die if I give up cheese. Well, guess what? I didn't die. I gave up cheese and
I
I
use
really feel like
cheese as a treat. Like when it's an anniversary or a birthday, because we've had those, um, or a special occasion, then I will make a cheese sauce with my steak. Or, I'll have cheese on a patty. Like I will introduce cheese on a special, like a Christmas lunch. That's when I'll use cheese. I'm not saying don't do cheese, but I do use cheese as a spoil because it's nice. It's a nice flavor. But very regularly, it's a slippery slope on cheese.
I
Because,
think
like you
that was
say,
my problem. Yes. I think that was my problem. Now you mentioned you don't really have too many friends because you just moved, but how does your family react to your carnivore lifestyle? Are they supportive of that? Like your sister, extended family? I know your husband is because he's doing it, but how does your extended family feel about your eating?
we are not a very close family. We don't see each other very often. So when they watch my videos, they just go, "Oh, that's nice." Go on. Like you have to do something quite, I would say, out of the ordinary for my family to actually comment on it. Like I think it's an Afrikaans thing. You're very polite. Like you stay in your lane. They don't come and scratch in my on my side of the world too much. So no, my family and my extended family, they couldn't care less. They really couldn't. When I enter
That's
into their space, that being said, when I go and have lunch at my dad's house or dinner at my dad's house, I will be expected to eat what he eats because it's his house and I'm entering into his space. I can choose not to have dinner with him. So, yeah.
um let's see. If you could go back and give young Chanelle advice about what you know now, what would you tell young Chanelle wisdom wise?
Can I just tell a younger person? Because I literally don't live in the past. I would not be sitting here today if I have to give myself advice because then life will not look like it does today. And I live a pretty awesome life. I think I do. So I would not, I will just, and I knew this because as a hairdresser, I was a very young 20-year-old girl standing behind a chair of women that's 40 and 50. And I would tell them my worries and concerns. And they would say to me, you know what, Chanelle, it will all work out and all will be okay. So I had that advice. But actual life advice, I would love to tell a younger person that if you're a Christian, like I am, and you lean into God and you literally pray that He helps you live each day the way He wants you to, and you reflect at the end of each day, you will live the life you're meant to live, regardless of how it looks. Because not life will never be smooth, right? Life will never be smooth.
Right.
So yeah.
That's great advice. That is wonderful. Okay, I have to ask this because I've been asking a lot of people this question. If you were stranded on an island and you had to take three things with you, not people, because obviously you want your husband and whatever with you, but if you had to take three objects with you, what would those be?
I'm an internal optimist, but I'm also very much a realist. So I have to, like, the practical side of me would say I want like a MacGyver knife, good shoes, and a water purifier. But the fantasy self, I want one of those tents in Harry Potter. Like, I'm going to go to the shop and I'm going to get one of those, a Harry Potter tent. And then basically all I need after that is comfortable shoes and something to keep me warm, because my Harry Potter tent will actually give me all the rest, right? So
Right. That's
you
I
can
gotta
choose
go.
which one of those you want to take. The
That's
practical one or the
awesome.
fantasy one?
That is awesome. Let's see. Oh, so eating out. I don't know what type of restaurants they have where you live or in the places you have lived. Talk about your favorite, if you do go out to eat, your favorite places to go out to eat and what those meals look like.
Okay, so South Africa has got very nice restaurants. My favorite one in South Africa used to be, like I think most South Africans, Spur and Mug and Bean. And then when we moved to the Cayman, we didn't eat out at all. It was just ridiculously expensive. We went out
Mhm.
once and the food was ugh. Um, there was a little coffee shop, but that's not a restaurant. Sorry, my husband's commenting from over there. And then when we moved here, when we moved here, there's awesome restaurants in this town. There is anything that you can think of, literally, there's in Dubai, and very good quality. I mean, the competition is so steep that you have to outshine the next one. We went to a Brazilian steakhouse. That was quite
Mm.
nice when we just got here. Um, but we eat a cheat meal every weekend, and that's KFC. We have those 8 pieces of chicken and 4 chicken strips, and that's a cheat meal, and that's what we have every single weekend. Is it clean? No. It could be pizza and chocolate cake. So that's KFC. That's what we have almost every weekend. And then no, I I won't say there's one other than that that stands out. I mean, a burger shop is a burger shop. No, I don't have a favorite restaurant. No,
And
the
that's
meat
okay. Like,
the meat
honestly,
I'm currently
I
making
find
is so much better.
that's what I think too. I get disappointed when I go to restaurants because we're like, to go to a steakhouse to get, I don't know, 10 ounces of a steak or 12 ounces, you end up spending like $200 by the time you're done with everything. And I'm like, for $200, I could have bought like two whole prime rib. I could have bought a whole
You
prime
could
rib
have
and
had
cut it
your
up
kitchen and your
myself.
bathroom cleaned for that money.
Yeah, or I could have gotten my house clean. And I'm like,
Hmm.
now every once in a while, do we go out to eat? Yes, because it's a social thing. So if other people
Exactly.
are wanting to go out with us, it's a social thing. And so we'll do that. But I'm just disappointed in the amount of food you get for the amount you pay.
It's a lot
because
of
they're
money. It's very
businesses.
expensive. And also because we're carnivore, we try and look at, okay, what's our cleanest option, number one. And number two, what's going to fill me up? Because this is now one of your two meals for the day. And as soon as you look at your red meat options, that money just skyrockets through the roof. And you never know what is in it, because we know with KFC, neither me or Andrew reacts to it. There's something in the Nando's sauce that we react to. And I'm sorry, if I want a plain grilled up chicken, I can do it at home. I don't have to buy Nando's without sauce. But there's something in the Nando's sauce that actually reacts to our body. It'll be a cleaner option, but not for us. Our bodies, there's something in
Right.
there that reacts. So from all the, and we've tried all of them. There's a few chicken places around here. Even Buffalo Wild Wing and um, I don't know. There's like 5 or 6 different chicken places that we could get like a type of whatever chicken and a chicken wing. And we just found that the KFC is the one that we can have. It doesn't give us that dip and it doesn't react to our bodies. And I think if you go and eat out, that's basically the only thing that you can hope for. I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, I agree. And
But
you said,
social events is difficult if you're on carnivore, unless you're the type of personality that goes, "This is who I am, take it or leave it." I mean, there is a social aspect to carnivore. That's if it's not. If you look at Michaela Peterson, she really cannot go off plan because it really impacts how she feels. But for us, that it doesn't really impact massively, we do feel socially obligated to blend. We don't want to swim upstream the whole time.
right. And I go out to eat once a week with friends. It's a social thing. We have lunch. And it's funny because we were going to these Italian restaurants that we would go get soup and salad. Well, guess what? I can't even do salad anymore because I'm carnivore. So
You
my
choose.
friends have yeah, they have adapted to me. So we usually go to a breakfast place or a burger place and I get 2 hamburger patties with bacon or I get 2 poached eggs with bacon. And so it was really nice of my friends to say, well, they call it the caveman diet. They go, we'll go where Amy can eat her caveman diet.
Well, that's nice, especially because you do it every week. Like, it's nice. And also, it's like having, the KFC. Like, obviously, that burger patty, you don't know the source of that burger patty. Yes, it's clean beef. They always say it's clean beef. After you've eaten it, you don't know unless you've made it yourself. That's always, I think, you have to weigh it up. I would much rather, like you say, your friends is accommodating. That's how you know they're good friends. But
Yep.
if you want to be really rigid about your carnivore diet, you won't do it because you don't know the source of that meat or that bloody blah. But it's always weighing up, do I want to be social or do I want to be on a diet? And a life experiences, as long as they can ebb and flow with sort of min of meer ongeveer what I do, I'm happy with ebbing and flowing through life. I don't like this rigid, here's your camp, you need to stay in it.
Right. Exactly. Oh, I think, did I just
Risa.
get lost?
Yes, you did, but it's okay. Risa said she doesn't have any more
Let me come
food
back.
noise. Can you hear
Oh
me?
yeah, I put this up here. Yep, I'm back. Sorry, I don't know what happened there, but it just booted me out. Okay, I don't. Yeah, she says I don't have any food noise anymore. Only if we are selling something new in the bakery. Oh, you work in a bakery? That's right.
Oh,
Where I work, I
that
haven't
must be
tried it. I'll try.
difficult.
Yeah, you know what? Because I even struggle, and I don't know about you, but like when I walk through the bakery section at the grocery store, it triggers me a little bit, and it doesn't make me want to eat, but I feel like I get a glycemic response just by smelling the baked goods. I don't know if
That'll
you
be.
have.
I don't know how she can do that. That's like an alcoholic working in a liquor store. That must be difficult. And that's
It
the nice thing
is.
about
It
living in
is.
Dubai because I order in my meat now. So I don't, on occasion, will drive out to the shop that I used to buy with at every week, but it's too hot now, so I can't walk out anymore. So on occasion, we'll drive out to that one. But I mean, I buy picanha steaks now at cheaper than what I can buy short rib for or mincemeat. Do you believe that mincemeat and sirloin steak, rump steak is all the same price in this town? Like there's no cheap
Wow.
mince. That's why we don't really eat mince. I bought some beef patties now that was on special. But unless your patties is on special, your mince is on special, it's the same price as a steak.
Wow, that's crazy.
Mm, it
That's
is. But I
that's
order my
awful.
meat in, so I don't even really have to go into a store these days.
That's fantastic that you
Mm.
order your meat in. I don't do that because I find it's just too expensive to order. So I go out. I have an app called what is it called? I can't think of it. But what it does is you put your zip code in and it gives you all of the deals and it shows you all of the flyers for the local grocery store. So I constantly watch that to see if anybody's running a special. And when it does, I go to that store to buy that meat special. So I
Mm.
do that. Um let's see. I lost my spot in chat, but Thomas says I'm just doing a half a stick of butter in my morning fatty coffee. Too much causes me issues as well as medication I'm finding out now. So is the medication the GLP-1 that you're on, Thomas? Is that causing you an issue or is it uh another medication? Post in the comments. I'm
I'm
trying to
starting
find where I'm
a
at.
GLP-1 tomorrow.
Are you? What are you
Yes.
starting?
No, I'm going to go see a doctor. Like that's the route I'm choosing, and I think that's the route you have to do in Dubai. So I'm going to go to our doctor. She does an evaluation, and then she prescribes. I think it's Wegovy that they have that and Manjaro, but
Mhm.
Manjaro is double the price. So I'm going to go with the Wegovy, and I have no idea how it's going to go. I don't know if it's going to work with my body, and I don't think I'm going to document it. So I might come back after a month so I can tell you guys how it went. But yeah, I'm starting a GLP-1. I want to lose weight faster.
Well, stay in touch. Like, even I'm just curious to see how that goes because, there's controversy over this. And if you haven't already started following Adrienne Gledhill, she is I don't know if you heard the TV show Biggest Loser, but she was on season 3 and
Okay.
she struggled on carnivore, right? She has some inflammation issues and she swears by a low dose of GLP-1. I'm not going to get into the weeds with that because I'm not an expert on it one way or the other. I think everyone has to figure out their own journey. And if that's a tool that someone needs to use, I'm not opposed to it. I'm kind of glad when I started 8 years ago that GLP-1s were not a thing because I probably would have just went straight to the GLP-1 first instead
The
of
easy
trying to do
route.
this the easy, yeah. Well, and I don't know that it's easy. I don't know that taking a G because there are side effects to it from what I'm hearing. And again, I'm not an expert. I think everyone has to try their own journey but Adrienne is a great resource because she is on a GLP-1 and she swears for her she has high inflammation. And
Okay.
there is rumors or there is talkings that GLP-1s do help reduce the inflammation in your body, and for her, she says that's the only thing that helps her. So
I don't
again,
think I have
um
inflammation. The reason why I'm looking or why I decided I'm going to go this route, I did the whole BBB&E, and you could see in my photos and my centimeters that there was a loss. I didn't lose anything on the scale. And then I reintroduced my milk, and then I started walking 10,000 steps per day and nothing, not on the scale, not in centimeters. I just went poof. And I've started counting calories around that same time. If you look at my last bit of my 10,000 steps, I started counting calories. So I know I'm in a reasonable calorie deficit. I know I'm not overeating on the dairy. I know I'm not overeating on fat. So there's no reason for my body to release the fat so slowly. It's taken me since November last year to lose 8 kilograms. So that's about 16 pounds, I think, just roughly in that bracket. It's very slow for me. So I'm just like, no, now I'm gonna nuke it. It's before Christmas I wanted to be down another 10. Let's see if it's gonna happen. I don't know.
Well, I hope you, even if you don't document it online, I hope you at least record little snippets. That way, in case you do want to document it, you can in a month or 3 months or whatever, you have recordings you could piece together. So, I mean, because I think it would be interesting to hear that part of your story too.
Okay.
But and so I posted your channel because people were asking on it. So you should have a few more subscribers because Lisa just subscribed and so did Thomas.
Thomas, I'm
So
talking
thank
about
you.
overwhelmed women in a busy season of their lives, drowning in clutter, habit stacking to move forward in life. Some am moving away from the carnivore content just because I eat KFC and I know the carnivore community is not going to like that, eh? I'm looking into GLP-1s and the carnivore community is not going to like that. So my channel was sort of leaning into one of two directions, and I chose one that I feel comfortable with.
Well, and honestly, I think your content could help a lot of carnivores too because we're trying to clean up our bodies. But what
And
you
our
do with
mind.
your channel is with the mind exactly, and they go hand in hand.
Mm.
So, and honestly, I have subscribed to a lot of non-carnivore channels recently just because I'm in a group called Tuber Chat, which is a YouTube channel that helps small YouTubers grow. And so you subscribe to people, and I've been watching other things just because I am obsessed night and day with this lifestyle. And sometimes your mind just needs a break and needs to go somewhere else. So it's good to have other content in that mix too.
Like I said to
Um,
you when I started joining our little group that we have, I've never watched so many cooking videos in my life.
you you asked me, is your channel another cooking channel? Because I don't know if I can handle another cooking channel. And for a while there, I was. But now that I'm carnivore, I mean, it's no one wants to see me just cooking a frozen hamburger patty or like scrambling some eggs. So I haven't done any cooking shows recently.
And I
Also
think
because
that's
I'm
why I moved
busy.
away from carnivore, because carnivore can become very monotonous. I do not like to tell people you need to do this. I don't like telling people that. I like to tell people, what do you need? And you can't be a carnivore channel doing that. You sort of have to go, well, you can't need chocolate cake. You can't need you can't need the chips. And I can't do that. I, I need I need to be deeper than the food that I eat. That makes sense. No one is.
Yes,
It's
it
not like
does.
I live a carnivore lifestyle. I literally have. If anyone saw my dishes that I got for my anniversary, I know I got dishes for my anniversary. If anyone saw that video, I've got one shelf, and it's got two different types of salt on it: apple cider vinegar and Worcester sauce. So that's my pantry. So I literally live this lifestyle, but I find it so boring to document unless you have a challenge going or something. Because, like you say, no one wants to see you do the same thing over and over and over.
Right. Dustin's here.
Hi,
Welcome,
Kristen.
Dustin. And Dustin says he's got a headache. It must be the weather in Indiana. Dustin lives about 3 hours south of me in Indiana. And I woke up with a terrible headache too. And Aaron said the same thing.
I just want to
Says
say,
he's
do you have
going to try a
weather
hot
changes?
shower. Yeah, we're starting to get cooler here. And like I said, Dustin and I both live in Indiana, and he lives 3 hours south of where I live. And I woke up with a terrible headache too. Usually what I do is, man, my computer's acting so strange. Usually what I do is I uh drink some electrolytes, and that usually helps.
You
Um,
see, that's such good
let's see.
advice coming from a carnivore. I have headache tablets, four of them. Go have a shower, have some headache tablets. When your head is sore, your head
Yes,
is sore.
yes, drinking salty water,
That's
maybe
such good advice.
stressed, and then he'll leave this playing. We've been on for almost like an
Two,
hour and 45 minutes. Does any Does anybody have any final questions for Chanelle? Just because I want to let her. Yes. Okay. So this was the app I was talking about. I couldn't think of it. Flip app. And I don't know if that would work in your country, but we used a Flip app. Yep, Flip app. And that's how I find the meat deals. Thank you for that.
No, in
Oh,
Dubai, they
so
promote
Tom,
shopping. So you will find a deal. Like I say, I'm buying picanhas at the cheapest price ever. So you'll find a deal
yes,
in
and
Dubai. To look for.
get what you can afford is, the best advice. And then Thomas stopped the GLP-1 because he found out the number one side effect was stomach issues like throwing up and severe diarrhea, and I think he was having that. Um, and he says, yes, this is the first time I'm telling on a platform. Was afraid to upset some, but I had to do what was best for me, and it was causing issues. And I'm never going to judge anybody for a tool that they want to use to um help progress. Everybody has to do their own N equals one. I tend to be have sensitive allergies to medications. So I almost can tell you I would probably have every severe side effect a GLP-1 would cause. Um, but not other people don't have those issues. So I think people need to do their own, um, N equals one with medications.
You see, my
And
husband's like
Evelyn says
that.
you were talking,
When he drinks
your husband,
medication, my husband's sensitive like that because if there is a side effect or a funny or a weird side effect to a medication, he will get it. Me, on the other hand, I'm
yeah.
not sensitive to medications at all. So
So you may do okay on that, but me, I get every side effect up into including death. I've never had death, so that's the only side effect I haven't had from a medication. But it's like I stop breathing, I swell,
really,
I get gastrointestinal issues. It's like it doesn't matter what the medication is.
no.
Evelyn says you were talking about food noise as I was driving. I realized the food I need or love doesn't taste as good as I suppose it did in my mind. Just more my opinion, but fat is more flavorful. Absolutely, Evelyn. That is so true. And Lisa says, make the content you like and make the content you're passionate about. I mean, you're passionate about carnivore, but you're more passionate about this minimalist lifestyle, and do the thing that you are passionate about because you will come across as more genuine and you're more knowledgeable in that. So,
Mm. And also, what can I talk about for the next 20 years? Can I promise that I'll be a carnivore in the next 20 years? If maybe not, I most possibly will because I absolutely hate vegetables. I always have. Like, you're like, oh, we go out for salad or soup. Really? No, I would never in my life go out for soup or salad. But that's just who I am. So I will most possibly I've always been meat heavy, and I most possibly always will be meat heavy. But will there come a day when
right,
I'm going to have another slice of pizza 10, 20 years down the line? Most possibly. What did Cindy say?
right.
We missed what
Oh,
Cindy said.
Cindy says, she says, I attempted an epic yard sale today. Epic fail. Dang rain. So Cindy has
Oh,
a eBay. She goes to yard sales, so she buys stuff for eBay, and then she resells it. That's like a business she has. So she couldn't go to her yard sale today. Sorry, I'm probably going to end this stream soon because I do have things to do today. My husband's patiently waiting so we can do some uh stuff, but kind of going through these. And this is funny. Lisa says, "What the hell, Cindy? Why does it have to rain on your parade?" And
just
then so she said, "Yep, we will go buy some stuff from others in our neighborhood."
I always hate it when I look
Let's
forward to doing something and then I can't.
yeah. So any final thoughts, Chanelle, before we end the stream? You have been an amazing guest, and your story's amazing, and everything that you're doing is just wonderful. And I hope you got a few subscribers from this. And I will also send you the video of this so you can upload it to your channel if you want to. You don't have to, but if you're interested, if you need more content, you can have a copy of this. But any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
I am very happy that carnivore is becoming more open and more people speak about it, because I do believe that there is definitely something to cutting out the carbohydrates, not just for food noise, but adding in fats. I think that's helping, especially the older women. They regulating their hormones. There's more studies coming out, so I'm very, very happy that this is not a taboo. When I used to say 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, I don't like eating vegetables, as a woman, I was looked at funny. But now I'm happy to have found something that works for me, that I enjoy doing, and that actually I now know I'm not mad. I used to be people I used to love fatty meat, and people used to look at me and go, how can you eat that? And I'm like, well, it's enjoyable. I really enjoy eating this. I'm just so happy to have found a community that resonates with me, that I can really go to for support if I need it. And so far, I haven't really been judged harshly for my opinions, but I'm enjoying carnivore. The health benefits, the flavor, the everything.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and let's do this again. Just to talk about, we can come up with some topics we want to talk about because you're great. You have a
Got the
wealth of
GLP-1 in a
knowledge.
few months. Let's see how that one goes. We'll
We
talk
can
behind
talk
the
about
scenes.
that.
Mm.
I'm not afraid to talk about that. We can talk about how you're doing in a few months if you want to come back on, and we can just talk about your progress and your thoughts and your honest opinions of it. So that would be great. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up because it has been 2 hours, and my husband banging things around downstairs. So I think some stuff's
Sure.
happening without me.
You need to go.
But
Thanks for
I
having me. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
yes, let's do it again in a few months, and we can continue on the conversation. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in the stream, and everyone have a good weekend. And hang on for just a second, Chanelle. I want to properly say goodbye. So have a great weekend, everybody. Keto Rock Stars. Take care.
Thanks for